family of McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy Thursday to all of you. I seem to be having a sound problem. I'm going to fix that. Slight sound problem. Levels are a little too low. That ought to fix it. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy 6th of November. 1 year ago today, we were celebrating. And listen, it was a cause worth celebrating. Very happy that obviously Donald Trump won the election last year. And I mentioned get addicted to winning. And, his off-year election. I think, as I said yesterday, it wasn't a 5-alarm fire. The lack of competition in states like Virginia, the lack of competition in states like New Jersey. But it should serve as a wake-up call. Not a panic button, but a wake-up call. I think that's the most important lesson to learn from that, right? I think it's not a panic button. It is a wake-up call. We have, we're going to have some fascinating, I think, discussion this morning. I'm very interested to see where we all, I wish we could run polls, on maybe, hopefully if Rumble's listening, it'd be cool. YouTube, you can put polls in like the live chat. Right? Now, YouTube, they ban you for saying, things that they don't like. So I'd much rather be on Rumble. I will say this, though. It would be cool to be able to do that in our live chat. I wonder for our chat, our audience, where we feel, and don't answer this yet, because we're going to get to it in a minute, in a little bit, but what we feel about the filibuster. Because I am admittedly torn. I am admittedly torn regarding the filibuster. On one hand, I'm like, do not get rid of it, because if you do, you're opening Pandora's box, right? But the argument of, many on our side are like, well, the Democrats are going to just open Pandora's box anyway. They already would have ended the filibuster had it not been for Manchin and Sinema, right? But is it just because they're going to do it, is it right for us to do it? That's another question. And some people will say, well, yeah, of course it's right for us to do it, because then we can go ahead and get our own agenda passed and actually deliver results and not have to worry about the Democrats. Okay, all right, valid. But then if the Democrats, and when the Democrats ever do get back into power, are they just going to repeal those laws? And I believe they'll pack the Supreme Court. So I'm very torn on the filibuster. Very torn on the filibuster. So I would love to have that conversation. And here's the best part about the filibuster. I'd love to have that conversation later. Michelle for Life brings up a very good point. We need to enforce the filibuster to be used the way it's supposed to be used. Make them stand for 24 to 48 hours or however long it takes. Well, see, now that's what I understand the filibuster to be. Right now, we do this pseudo filibuster, right? Where it's like, oh, you don't have 60 votes. It's a filibuster. You're like, the filibuster is supposed to be a never-ending speech. Not, oh, you don't have 60, so okay, so then let's get in there. So you can't invoke cloture. You can't end debate on legislation. So let's debate. Nobody's debating right now. I remember when the whole idea of the filibuster was like some guy walks up to the front of the Senate with the yellow pages and starts reading off businesses and their phone numbers. Like that's the way the filibuster was designed to be used. Not this, well, you don't have 60, so let's come back tomorrow. So, I mean, I think we should actually enforce the filibuster, shouldn't we? Because no one's actually filibustering. All right. So we will get into that discussion a little bit later. Federal voter IDs. Guys, I have misunderstood the Constitution for a long time. And I've misspoken about the Constitution for a long time. We're going to get to that because my position today is going to change on federal voter ID laws. My position is going to change on federal voter ID laws. So that'll be interesting. I have misunderstood this idea in the Constitution for a very long time, and I'm happy I looked into it this morning because there's a few caveats there that we're going to hit on. Zohran Mamdani is already having negative impacts on the state of New York. Already having negative impacts on the state of New York. It's only been what? It's been under 24 hours. The commissioner of the FDNY, the commissioner of the FDNY has already resigned. He's a Jewish guy, and I don't really care what denomination or religion or faith he practices, but he was a Jewish guy, resigned. That's not good. Oh, we'll just get another FDNY commissioner. Yeah, I understand that. I totally get that. But it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, don't you feel like you're kind of a little exposed here regarding, I don't know, the safety? Don't you feel like you might be a little exposed? I don't know. But this is the problem. And look, as I had mentioned, New York City was never going to be a situation where the Republican won. They're not ready. As a matter of fact, I don't believe New York City is ready to elect anybody other than a Democrat. So perhaps the way to do it going forward in New York City, and it may feel dirty, is to just, if you're a Republican, join the Democrat Party and lie your way to the top and then rule. I don't know. That might be the only way, Trojan horse style. Trojan horse style. So we have that. The Mamdani effect. I promised a couple of days ago that we would talk a little bit about Boasberg. We would talk a little bit about Comey. So we do have that as well a little bit later today. And we will get to all of it in short order. We will get to all of it in short order. Namely, though, the idea, and I want to hit on something that we hit yesterday, the apathy problem in the Republican Party. And I think Donald Trump is finally figuring this out. And it's not his fault per se. It's not his fault at all. He has done everything, expected of him regarding, these elections. What is he supposed to do as the president of the United States? Is he supposed to go to New Jersey and throw a rally? Is he supposed to go to Virginia and throw a rally? He's the president. He's got to go, and he's been ending wars, right? He's got other things to do. We have to take some accountability there too. But anyway, I want to, we're going to get to all of that. We'll start on that front in just a second. Good news out of Minneapolis, by the way, that, look at me, I'm the captain now. That's Somali Omar Fateh, whatever his name is. He lost. So, I mean, Jacob Frey isn't much better, but he's not a Somali, radical who's going to be running Minneapolis. He's a liberal radical, but I think he's like Cuomo versus Mamdani, the lesser of two evils. And I just say, thank God I don't live in Minneapolis. Before we get to all these conversations, it'll be fascinating too. I think we're going to have an interesting discussion today about the filibuster, because there is two sides to this argument, and I don't necessarily know what side I'm on. I know what side I'm leaning towards right now, but it might just be because I've been dug in on this position for quite some time. So we will get to it in just a moment. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. Explore the wonderful quality of Faith Farm and Freedom products with a special limited time 15% discount on your entire purchase. Take a peek at the lineup from OFP Farms. They are America's go-to soap company, famous for natural ingredients, the skin-loving perks of tallow and goat milk, and a big heart for farm-to-family skincare. Now, whether you are looking for gentle skincare or thoughtful gifts, their products will bring together expert care and good values to make your daily routine that much better. Do not miss this chance to enjoy premium products that support your health and ethical choices for your entire family. OFP Farms is the small family farm with big, beautiful love. Use the code Sean, SHAWN, SHAWN at OFPfarms.com. That is Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com, OFPfarms.com. I'll show you the website. There it is right there. Boom. Christmas gift sets coming December 10th. OFP. Oscar Font. Look at this cute little baby holding a little baby goat. Unbelievable. OFPfarms.com. Promo code SHAWN. OFPfarms.com. Promo code SHAWN for 15% off of your entire purchase. That is OFP. Oscar Foxtrot Papa Farms.com. OFPfarms.com. Promo code Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Become a part of the OFP family today. Get over there. They've got great products. I use the Goat Kisses lip balm every day, a lot every day, as a matter of fact. And it has been probably one of the best products. And, because I used to be addicted to chapstick. So there you go. Now we have Goat Kisses lip balm. All right, I want to get to another word from our friends over at Silent. It's slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Let's face it, guys and gals, your phone is a tracking device. Between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint. But they don't ask, they just go on and take it. That is why Silent exists. They make Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means just this: no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs. It is amazing. This stuff is absolutely phenomenal. It is the same technology trusted by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission may lead. And right now, that technology is available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and secure your digital footprint. Just drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid, completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbodies, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. Visit slnt.com, slnt.com/Sean, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November, to save 15% and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is slnt.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Go silent today and silence the chaos. That is, once again, slnt.com/Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. All right. Let's start with Mamdani. And unfortunately, what has the story that broke out of New York yesterday. All right. The FDNY commissioner has handed in his resignation less than 12 hours after Zohran Mamdani was declared the winner in the New York City mayor's election. FDNY Commissioner Robert Tucker handed in his resignation on Wednesday, less than 12 hours after Democrat Socialist Zohran Mamdani was announced the winner of New York City's mayoral election. The fire chief tendered his resignation the morning after anti-Israel Zohran Mamdani was declared mayor-elect of New York City, according to a report by the Daily News. On Wednesday morning, so yesterday morning, Tucker informed, this is Robert Tucker, the FDNY commissioner, informed New York City Mayor Eric Adams that December 19th will be his last day as FDNY commissioner, according to an email obtained by the newspaper. Quote, between now and then, I will continue to lead the greatest fire department in the world and ensure an orderly transition. While Robert Tucker's reasons for resigning were not immediately made clear, an FDNY source told the New York Daily News the fire chief, a Jewish philanthropist and businessman, felt he would not mesh well with the incoming mayor and his team. Zohran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed socialist who has repeatedly refused to say that the terrorist group Hamas should lay down its arms, will be sworn in as New York City's mayor on January 1st, 2026. So you just lost the FDNY commissioner, right? That is the head of the fire department that has jurisdiction in all 5 boroughs of New York City. Now, he remains in place until the 19th. And I'm sure, he'll do what he can to train up a replacement, etc. But this is part of what I think you're going to see happen in New York City in the wake of Mamdani. So, yes, you've got a lot of young people who want socialism in New York City. And by the way, I think it's time to reassess how we feel about woke and socialism and the energy of the radical left. It ain't dead, okay? It may not be trendy to do the woke thing anymore. In the corporate world, it may not be, as popular to mandate, with the Human Rights Campaign and all that stuff. But it's not dead. It's not dead. Look at the people who won just a couple nights ago in Virginia. Abigail Spanberger, Jay Jones. These people are not moderates. It's not like the Democrats said, woke is dead. We are acknowledging woke is dead. Let's run non-woke candidates. These are like full-blown wokies. No two ways about it. Look at Mikey Sherrill, same deal. Look at Zohran Mamdani, same deal. Now, they won running on a woke platform in blue states. So that, kind of makes sense, right? But wokeism, it may not have the canceling power that it had a couple of years ago, but it is firmly entrenched on the left. Firmly entrenched on the left. So I don't want to get too cocky with the idea that wokeism is dead. It took a blow in the 2024 election, but it is far from dead. It is alive, and we know now that it is alive. Identity politics, oppressor versus the oppressed, and all this. We know that ideology, by the way, isn't just alive, but it's alive on both sides of the aisle now. There is a woke left. They think they're fighting against the patriarchy, the white man, right? And there is the woke right, where they believe they're fighting against the Jews, right? And Jewish influence over everything. So wokeness is not dead. And I'm not saying that because I'm happy about it. I'm saying that because it's there. Wokeness and the ideas that are thrown around and the philosophies that are thrown around on the woke left, right? And the idea that, white supremacy and everyone I disagree with is a fascist. No, that's what killed Charlie Kirk. So I think it's important to take stock and take note of that. They are alive. Socialism is alive. It is not receding. It is surging. And we have to be there as a seawall and block that surge. Block that surge. We dealt it a defeat, a short-term defeat. We won a battle last year in 2024, a year ago. But we have not won the proverbial rhetorical war. Okay? It's not a call to violence. So I want to be very clear about that. So you look at Mamdani now. You have a young voter base, enthusiastic voter base about socialism in New York. But here's what I encourage all Democrats to do, by the way. When you say you want when you're Bernie Sanders, the rich have to pay their fair share, right? Millionaires and billionaires. There should be no billionaires in our country. Okay. Fine. Can you guys just be honest, please, on the left, and just call it wealth redistribution? When you say the rich have to pay their fair share, who determines what is fair? You do? Who determines what is fair? The have-nots? Who determines what is fair? Generally, a fair agreement is an agreement that both sides will agree to. Doesn't sound like that's what's going to be happening. When Bernie said the rich must pay their fair share, the rich don't have a say. The rich don't have a say. It's the government and the have-nots that have a say. This is textbook wealth redistribution. So if you have somebody who is worth $1 billion, like a billionaire, right? Someone who makes a ton of money. And the idea is, well, if we take more money from the billionaires and we bring that money into the government and it funds free buses and city-run grocery stores and all of these services, somebody is still paying for those services, correct? Who's paying for those services? The billionaire, right? The rich. They're paying for other people to ride the bus. It's the same thing as if the billionaire would just take his money and give it to these people so that they can ride the bus so they don't have to pay anything out of pocket. It is wealth redistribution. That's what it is. Could you guys just call it that? It is no different than that. If you are going to tax rich people at a higher and a ridiculous rate, right? So that poor people get things, it's the same thing as just taking the money from the rich and giving it to the poor. It's wealth redistribution. And I'm just asking the left, just be honest. If you're Bernie Sanders, they have to pay their fair share. No, don't say that. Just say, we want to redistribute the wealth in our country. I want that. Be honest. Okay? Be honest. Rico6 says it's free sugar honey iced tea at the expense of others in the live chat. That's exactly what it is. It's free stuff at the expense of others. Nothing is actually free. There is always a cost of doing things, right? I had this conversation with and this was in, I think, 2018, 2019. I was in New York City at some protest. There was this big left-wing protest. Donald Trump was going to Madison Square Garden for some reason. And it was like, let's do a counter protest. And there were a few of us on the sidewalk and this whole Soros-funded operation in front of us. And we were having a good time. And I had a young guy, and he was very nice. He came up and he was like, I want free health care. And I was like, so do I, right? I would love to not pay for health care, but someone has to pay for it, right? Because if your health care is free, right? If you go to the doctor's office and, it's free, all right? Or your health insurance, if your health insurance is free, well, once you determine that you have a right to somebody else's labor, that person who is performing the labor is what? What's it called? If you determine that you have the right to somebody else's labor, what does that make the laborer? What does that make the laborer? If you take your car to a mechanic and you say, I deserve to have the right to free auto care for all. It's called being a slave. Paulie M91 got it in the live chat. It's called being a slave. I thought we were against slavery in this country. When you declare it is your right to somebody else's labor, the person who is performing the labor is now a slave. That's not legal. That's not right. I thought we were against slavery. Okay? But I had this conversation with this kid in New York City. He was very nice, genuinely a discussion. And I said to him two things. Because he was like, Andrew Yang and universal basic income. I said, oh, it's a great idea, right? So you're going to get $1,000 a month simply for existing, right? That's Andrew Yang's plan. Anybody is going to get universal basic income, $1,000 a month. Okay. I said, you believe, corporations and capitalists are greedy, right? Greedy corporations, they charge too much. They don't pay their employees enough. He goes, yeah, absolutely. I said, okay. Do you have a cell phone? He said, yeah. Okay. Do you think your cell phone carrier, when they know that you're getting an extra $1,000 every month, isn't going to want a piece of it? They know you're getting it. They know you're getting it because everybody gets it, right? If doing nothing gets you $1,000, then what is the value of $1,000? Nothing. Isn't that crazy? The government trying to make markets here. So I said to him, and it's not just going to stop with your cell phone. The train you took to get into this city, that's going to get more expensive. Why? Because they know you have it. They know you've got $1,000 extra a month for doing absolutely nothing. They know you have the money to spend. So they're going to demand that you spend it. Your groceries are going to get more expensive. Your utilities are going to get more expensive. Your rent is going to get more expensive. Everything is going to go up because everybody knows that you have that extra $12,000 a year now for doing absolutely nothing. Everybody knows it. Every company knows it. You tell me the companies are greedy. You're telling me they're going to just let you keep an extra $12,000 a year? There's no way. I said, my friend, you know what that's called? He said, what? I said, inflation. When you just start devaluing money and sending it to everybody because you think it's nice, that's inflation. He goes, well, interesting. But I still want free health care, he said. Oh, okay. I said to him, how is the health care going to be free? What do you mean by free? You mean you don't have to pay for it, right? There's no out-of-pocket cost. Yes, he said to me. That's okay. So who's paying for it? The government. All right. Very good. How does the government get money? Taxes. Okay, very good. Who pays the taxes? We do. Okay, so you're paying the government so that you don't have to pay for healthcare? Is that what you're telling me? So you're still paying. And he goes, I never thought of it that way, but I still want free healthcare. And I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to say, you understand what I'm saying. You don't want to admit that I'm right, but you understand what I'm saying. If the government is paying for a service, right? If the government is giving you healthcare, giving it to you, they're not actually giving it to you. They're giving it to you in exchange for your taxes. You're still paying for it. You are still going to be paying in New York City for the free buses because the city is not going to just get its money out of nowhere. And if you think they're going to take it just from billionaires, that's how the federal income tax started too, didn't it? They said, we're going to just tax the top 1%. Everybody pays taxes now. Okay? Everybody pays. So if you're paying to fund a government program that the government tells you is free, it's not free because you're paying. If I go to a store and they say, look, let me see. If I wanted to buy Nancy Pelosi's teeth, right? And the store told me it's free. Okay, it's free to get Nancy Pelosi's teeth. But then when I try and take Nancy Pelosi's teeth, they go, well, you have to pay a funding tax equal to the value of that item so that you can get it for free. Okay, so I don't know that I'm buying the item, right? If this is $5 at the store and the store says it's free, and then when I leave the store, they go, but you got to give us $5 because that's our funding. Then I might as well just give them $5 in exchange for the teeth, right? I might as well just. People don't seem to understand it. It's not free, and you are still paying for it. And if you are paying for something, it's not free. It was like back on eBay years ago. It used to be like illegal or against their terms to sell sports tickets on eBay. I don't know if anybody remembers this. So what people used to do is they used to say, free playoff tickets for the NFL if you buy this pen. Right? So people would buy a pen for thousands of dollars because they purchase the pen and then they get for free the NFL tickets. But it's not free. You're not paying $1,000 for the pen. You're paying $1,000 for the thing they're telling you is free. It's the same thing as healthcare. It's not free. You're paying for it. You are funding it with your tax dollars. And the socialists come back and go, well, no, the poor people aren't funding it. The rich people are. Okay, what happens when they leave? What happens when they leave? What happens when federally people with a lot of money buy a house someplace in some sort of tax haven and they avoid taxes? Well, because tax evasion is a crime. Tax avoidance is a full-time job and a hobby for a lot of people. What happens when in New York City, when you talk about when Zohran's talking about free buses? And they're going to use all this tax revenue from billionaires. What happens when the David Teppers, you know who David Tepper is? He was a hedge fund manager in New Jersey in 2016. David Tepper. David Tepper? I think his name was David Tepper. Let me double check that. Let me see. David Tepper NJ. Let me see. David Tepper. He moved to Florida in 2015. When he left and took his money with him, the state of New Jersey had to redo its entire state budget because all of the lost tax revenue. Do you understand? This is what New York City is headed towards. Now, he's only a mayor. He can't do that much. But it's not just that he's a socialist mayor. He's an Islamo-Marxist mayor. He wants to do away with the New York Police Department's counterterrorism force. And what do you think is going to happen when Zohran Mamdani gets his hands on the NYPD counterterrorism database and finds a ton of Islamic names on it? I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked if early into next year, into his term as mayor of New York City, that we see this massive Islamophobia uncovered in New York City. Look at how many Muslims are on this list. Yeah, well, how many of them Google searched how to make an IED? You going to share that information with us too, pal, or no? Scary times coming for New York City. Very, very scary times. Very scary times. And it's, unfortunately, it may not end in New York. It may not just stop in New York City. It may spread elsewhere. This is why we have to be on top of our game when it comes to participating in elections. I'm going to give you that in a second, and then we're going to run through some of the filibuster. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at Old Glory Bank. It is oldglorybank.com. You down with OGB? I'm down with OGB. This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, and I'm here to tell you about Old Glory Bank. They're tremendous people. They are the premier bank for faith and freedom. You've heard me talk about how the big crooked banks, they're so big, they're so crooked. They debanked me and our beautiful first lady following the rigged election. It was rigged as hell in 2020. Thankfully, there's a bank that loves your favorite president as much as I love your favorite president. Old Glory Bank. They do not debank Americans who love their country and honor the Constitution. That is right. You've heard me talk about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is America's best online bank that serves customers and small businesses in all 50 states. I'm a customer. My wife is a customer. They've done everything and have everything that you need to bank online, including free accounts, free overdraft protection, early direct deposit, home loans, VA loans, and business loans. That is why Old Glory Bank quickly grew from $10 million to over $225 million in deposits. Your money is your business. Open an account today in minutes at oldglorybank.com and join the right side of banking. Look, we're not asking you to buy anything. You go to oldglorybank.com, you set up a free account. When Brennan and I set it up, they didn't ask for any money. Opened up an Old Glory Bank account like this. Boom, done. No one's buying anything. Free account. Free account. Perfect. It's an amazing, very convenient online bank. So check it out. oldglorybank.com, oldglorybank.com. All right. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. I want to get to a word from our friends here, and then we'll jump into the filibuster conversation and the apathy conversation from yesterday. Take a look.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees. No pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Again, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA.
That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA, and I see episodes happening in the chat right now. I see episodes. Bad Moon may never recover from this. I hope he does, by the way. Here we go. 843 likes right now on Rumble. Thank you so much. We're going to honk the hog. There it is. We throw the hog. We love the hog. And that means we're 57 away from our big hog. All right? So let's make it happen. Thank you so much for watching and listening, everybody. Hey, if you're watching over on YouTube and you're watching over on X, we're going to say goodbye to you right now. Full show is over on Rumble, rumble.com/LFA TV. Appreciate you guys tuning in on other platforms, but Rumble is the cool kids table. It is home base. So let's go to rumble.com/LFA TV, and you can join this conversation on the Filibuster. When you come over to rumble.com/LFA TV, create a Rumble account, jump in the chat and say, I made it! I made it from YouTube. I made it from X. So we're going to say goodbye to YouTube as YouTube goes